Ladies and gentlemen, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are watching this show from. It is a beautiful day and a beautiful show it is, the Benjamin Zulu Show. Now, you and I understand that if you want whatever you value to last long, you treat it differently, right? Now, I want us to carry that concept into our dating. If you want your dating to move into marriage and you want to actually experience the value and the beauty of your marriage for a lifetime, you have to treat it differently. Now, what happens if the one that you are dating is actually not the problem, but the problem is coming from their side? What happens if you're dating somebody and their parents reject you? They don't want to see you. What happens in that case? That is the very topic that we are talking, so you better give us all your ears and tell a friend to tell a friend that it's time. Hey, Benjamin.
Hello. And let's start by saying that many times when we are dating, we don't think about our families, because after all, we are being told not to judge people according to where they come from. You know, it seems like it's maturity to focus on just us. We are building our life after all.
Yeah.
This time is me and you. You know, and we're likely to be dating here in Nairobi or somewhere at the workplace. Yeah. The families are always not in view. In today's life, you are not going to see the girl in our family. Most times you are meeting out there. You are not likely to think about your parents. Yeah. They come up in your conversations. You can get to see how the person, they have journeyed with their parents. You can get to know generally what kind of relationship exists from their conversations, from as you talk, how they refer to them. You can get to know some things. When you think of the family, you usually ask yourself whether they will allow you to wed, that will allow you to marry. And this person can predict and tell you what they know their parents will accept. Okay? Yeah. Usually they know. What? And when you talk of parents here, think of the whole family. As I told you, African families are convoluted. They are the structure is different. You may find that the person who has the parental authority is a sibling, an older brother. It's a person who is very powerful there. Yeah. Maybe they educated you, maybe the ones who have paid you upkeep for a very long distance, for a very long time, the ones who have held you up. So when you think of parents, just think of the parent authority or parent figure, all right? Think of the person who is standing in that position. Many times you have the parents themselves, and then you have the other person who is by the side, but the parents must consult that person. The parents are here ceremonially, but the one who's calling the shots is behind the scenes. And I told you to be wise. I want to tell you the process of anticipating rejection and neutralizing it. All right? Yeah. In fact, the safer way is not to assume you will be loved very much. The safer way is to assume, we say hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. Prepare, hope for love, prepare for hate. Yeah. Okay? So pray and hope that there will be harmony. Prepare for disharmony. Okay? So does not surprise you or make you sink. Yeah. All right? Now, we are starting here by saying there are 3 levels of rejection. The first rejection, you are the parents to the person you are dating. There are several ways they can love you and they're happy. And we hope that happens. That is our hope. But now let's go on and plan if it goes the other way. The first level is they simply give you a cold shoulder. They don't support, they're not enthusiastic, they don't comment, they don't engage you, they don't talk about you as much, they're just there. Yeah. Prepare for that, brother. You might marry somewhere and you don't feel warmth. You don't feel welcome. Yes. Neither are you kicked out, neither are you told to come in. Hey. Can you imagine? It's usually a very awkward feeling when people are not excited to see you. Yeah. And then they don't comment as much. When you ask your partner, your girl, what did your parents say? They didn't comment. After they saw you the first time and you left, you expected them to give their review. Yes. To congratulate the girl or warn her. They went on with the life. That is never love. We call it indifference or cold shoulder or ambivalence. Usually they keep quiet because they can't figure you out quite. You elicit that kind of reaction when you're hard to read. And I want you to always be hard to read. You elicit that kind of reaction when Remember, by marrying, you bring change to the family, and change is always traumatizing to people. Most people are panic, they fear change because they don't know whether they will lose, they will benefit by it, or they will hurt by it. They can't tell. So people try to predict, to read you, to see the vibe, to see. So some will try to see whether they can grab you and be on your side, bring you to their side early enough. Others see whether they want to antagonize you. That's why I told you, when you come from a big family, don't conduct an opinion poll about the person you're marrying, because there will never be a consensus. Never. There will never be a consensus. Roll out opinion polls. Please, roll it out early and decide who matters. I'll take you do the progress, but the first progress is simply who is significant. Who is it better to be on your side? There are people who are better. Things will go easier when they're on your side. Those are the people you put effort to win. And they are usually a handful. 1, 2, or 3. Usually, no, it's the mom. If I win mom, dad usually comes along. Usually, no. It's brother ABCD. If I win brother ABCD, the rest will be whipped to toe the line. You just need one brother to say, hey, anybody that comment, thank you. We shall meet at the wedding. You know there's a brother. If he says something, the rest of the people might as well come on board. So the people you have to really try to persuade are never many. Even if you come from a family of 27 siblings. Power never is centered in a group. It's usually individuals. Understand that. The power dynamics in all groups, families, companies, organizations, even a country, even a government, however big the structure is, never be deceived by the size. Power is always centered around an individual or two, mostly 3. The people who matter are never many, so don't be intimidated by marrying a girl and she has 19 siblings. Other people have 2 families. They were born here, brought up by this one, mentored by the pastor, so the whole family in Africa. People have a path of life that is so spiraling, you can get dizziness if they tell you who matters and you have to introduce to all of. You need a whole month of introductions. So don't be intimidated. Always remind yourself, influence is always centered. Always centered. It is never it's never the group. Many of them are just noisemakers. In fact, the dogs that bark the most are hardly the ones that bite. It's not the noisemaker in the family that should worry you. It's who people look at before they say anything, and who, when they talk, everybody listens. Usually, understand that in any group, in a company, you need to know who is powerful by seeing who, when they say something small, everybody responds, pays attention. That's where the power is. You don't need to be told who is the CEO, who is this. The real influence is shown by who has a voice, and you'll know them after interactions. All right. Many people who are talking are usually power brokers. The loudest people are not usually the powerful person, because they want you to know that they can talk to the right people on your behalf. So they want you to bribe them to put you in the right standing. They're usually brokers. They are not the powerful people. The powerful. In fact, even when you see a couple, the most aggressive, it's never the person in charge. People who are in control are calm. They have nothing to prove. They can always do what they want to do. We're not saying all quiet people are powerful. Some are quiet because they're subdued. They can't talk. They'll be slapped. Some people are quiet because they've been subdued. And we say, don't mistake introversion for depth. Introverts are generally reserved, but some people are quiet because they have nothing to say. Okay? They have no depth. Okay? Many people marry introverts because they think they are quiet and something deep there, only to realize they are quiet because they're empty. So, neither quietness nor noise shall tell you who is powerful, who is influential. You must observe the real signs of power. Who is that? When they talk, people listen. When people want to say something that needs approval, who they look at, who they glance at. All right? Who must arrive for the meeting to officially start? The rest of you have arrived, but the meeting has not officially started. When they arrive now, they are not late. You are the ones who are early. Okay? So now, they reject you, they be ambivalent when they can't figure you out. Whenever you go to a family and sense indifference, just realize they can't conclude about you. All right? And they're not sure. The second level of rejection is when they passive-aggressively resist you. Passive-aggressively means on the surface they look cooperative and happy, but behind the scenes they are sabotaging. They are against it. But they are too coward or fearful to voice it outright. Passive-aggressive. They act cooperative when in fact they are very uncooperative. And this is the most common form of rejection. It is the most common you'll have to deal with. People smile on the, but they go, when you marry from families that are, many communities in Africa know witchcraft and superstition. Yeah. Passive aggressors use superstition. That's why I told you to make sure that where your woman is going home every day is not a place that is accessible to family members. I told you if you live in Nairobi, you can have a house at home. You need presence. Your mother needs to say, this is my son. This. In Africa, that we have that custom. Don't make your mother look like she has no children. Put up a small structure there according to customs. All right? Joseph and Mary obeyed the customs. To forward circumcision every day. There's a place for customs, brother. Don't despise them. You have your roots. Your roots make you connected to your people. Put something at home so that your mother can take pride. Let me sweep Bramwell's house. They are coming on weekends. They feel very proud when they're preparing that you're coming. You know, and they are happy telling their colleagues, your mother, the people who matter to her friends, her church, where she goes. Your father, the only pride she wants about her son is when she can take pride among her colleagues. Say, yeah, my son said they will be coming. So tomorrow, guys, I'll not be here. I'll be with my... That is what matters to your parents. You know, for you, it's big things, like big on the screen, trending online. Your parents don't live in that world, please. They live in another small world which you are likely to overlook. It matters when you have a presence at home, form of a structure or whatever, something, it can be same compound or just nearby, something so that they can feel the existential satisfaction that their son is connected to them. Are we together? Yeah. Make sure that one is there. But if in case you are living there, and you are home, you are based near your parents, and your wife is going home daily, make sure there's an independence, a distance. If you're only visiting, it can be as near as, because you're only visiting every now and then. That is not a problem. But if your life is centered there, make sure your wife has enough distance to be independent and have peace. Fence her own gate. Okay? The kind of chaos I'm hearing people saying, the mother-in-law comes in, goes right to the bedroom, comes to inspect this, just walks in. You need a gate. You need a fence. When you realize you are based where parents live, make sure that your woman has enough territorial independence to run her life without being monitored. Some people behave like spy cameras, reporting what she was wearing, when she went, when she came back, who came here. Marry a woman you trust, and a woman you can have a life with, who you don't need to inspect. So we are saying the second level is passive-aggressive. They will resist you quietly. All right? The third thing is aggressive resistance. All right? They take a hard line and say, we don't want that tribe here. We don't want that son here. We don't want that girl here. We don't. They take a hard line. So 3 levels: ambivalence, passive-aggressive, hard lining. Okay? Whichever level of resistance, you shall decide whether to still proceed and marry that person depending on these 2 factors only. 2. Stop making this question difficult, please. People keep asking as if it's mysterious. You know, you love me. She loves me, but not her mother. She loves me, but the brother. She loves me, but the family. She loves me, but. Once you sense rejection, the questions are only 2. Number 1, how determined is he still to get married to you? The determination of the one you're dating. Number 2, how independent they are from their family. Okay. Those are the only factors. Are they still, their mind made up about you? Or do they look hesitant? They're saying, give me time to think. No, it's my people. Hey, give me time to think. The moment you see ambivalence, quit. Don't wait for rejection. Ambivalence is enough to know, even if they marry me, I'll be exposed. I'll be fought badly. Yeah. I'll have to confront very ugly battles. Because the person is flipping. When they're on my side, they talk like that. When they go their side, they listen. When they go here, you need a person whose mind is made up. No, I can't go back to the searching world, my friend. I know what I went through to get this person. I know. And I know how deeply you connect. I know what they stand for. I know my life will be very different to them. And I know nobody else I can meet who will connect this deeply. I know myself. And I know who I found, how rare it is to get a person like this one and do not listen to anyone. Excuse me, you guys are in my history. I'm happy we came from the same place, but we are not headed to the same place. Bramwell, you can marry and migrate to Australia. Yeah. You can marry and change your life totally. Go to the other side of the country. You can marry and build a life that is so different and far away from these people. What if they make you discard the only woman or the only person you would have built a life with? Is that wisdom? But people do that because of fear. Yeah. So the second point is independence. You cannot, Brahma, you can't stand for your own decision against a family that feeding you, clothing you, housing you, lifting you up, carrying you. If you are still enmeshed in terms of depending on them, you have no power. Are we together?
Yeah.
Be very careful. Don't date a person who depends on the family for survival, because it means if they are feeding you, the one who's paying the piper calls the team. If they are the ones financing your life, it means they're the ones who will dictate who you marry. Are we together?
Yeah.
You need a person who has learned to live on their own and who can survive. You're not saying you reject an inheritance. If you're given an inheritance, be happy, brother. We also want to give our children inheritance. But some people are giving us inheritances, wealth and something. They bring it to the conditions. So you want a person who has developed independence enough to say, if you are giving me anything with such terms, I can easily forego and go to build my own life. Two things. A person whose mind is made up. You are the one and nobody else. You want to see that clearly, without doubt. Number two, you want a person who has independence enough from the family to make their own choices without being arm twisted. Okay?
Yeah.
If they are so weak enough, they're being arm twisted, you're done. The second level now, if they pass the test, let's say now they've passed the test, you end up facing rejection. We started by praying that you hope you'll be accepted with the song and merriment. Okay. We are not a prophet of doom. Okay. Yeah. We started with hope and prayer that you'll be humbled and embraced in genuineness. But we're preparing you for any case. So in case you face any of the three levels of rejection.
Yeah.
The first level is ambivalence. They can't quite tell and they're just there. Number two is passive aggressive. When you are there, yes, welcome. But you hear what they said after you left. But when you are, they're happy. But behind the scene, other way of sabotage is to ask for too much requirements. They sound friendly, but they ask for too much money, too many goods, too many things that you cannot garner at your age. All right? And they put conditions that are obstacles. All right? The third level is hardlining. When they say we don't want to see you here, we will not show up in that wedding. We will disown you, we will curse you. Prepare for that. Yeah. For that kind of marriage, you need a person who is very hard, who is very determined. And how shall you determine whether they shall proceed? Even if there's a hard line, the hard line is usually the worst. The passive aggressive can also be very bad because there's a guy who showed up at home and he was exploited. All the money he was coming to pay bride price, it was eaten in these other games where they hide the bride with the clothes, and if you misidentify her, you are penalized. Yeah. You're given a penalized. This one. So the money was exploited a little bit and he disappeared. That's passive aggressive. It's like they don't see you as a person, just see an opportunity to exploit. All right? How made up in their mind is it that you are the one? So don't date a girl for a year without knowing her family. Better to be rejected this early, the second month. Are we together? Make a casual appearance and see the reaction. Okay?
Yeah.
So that you test her. You're not seeing the reaction to determine whether you want her. Brother, as I told you, you're not that good that everybody will accept you. You're not avocado.
Yeah.
Stop imagining that everybody will like you wherever you show up. There are families that will simply not like you. Yeah. Their daughter loves you so much, but some of the family members, they had another person in mind. There's something about you they don't like. You don't look that promising. You are not generous. You don't tip them. Don't give them money. Don't give them handouts. There's something they don't like. No. Research shows that 10% of the world will reject you even before you do anything. Research. 10% of all people will hate you, whether you do good or bad. Okay? Yes. So please make peace with that fact. The second, so you're saying, what is the solution then? Once you see the person has made up their mind and they're independent enough to make a solution, they say, even if they disown me, the curses that have not been deserved will not, 26:2 Proverbs, undeserved curses will not take effect. A curse that is not deserved, not sincere, not justified will not take effect. You want a man who says, no, I know, this is my life, this is my time. All right? Yeah. The second, so they have made up their mind. The other thing is they have the power to make the independent decision. Don't marry a person who is so enmeshed, dependent on the family that they can't make a decision. If she's taking a master's and she was being paid fee by the parents and saying, if you don't hear, we'll stop. Master's is an advanced degree which can be postponed. If she's, and I told you not to marry a girl who has not finished the basic education to be able to work. Are we together?
Yes.
Get a girl who, if it was diploma, if it was degree, they have enough skills to work. If they are being paid to advance, advancing can always wait. Basic is what we needed to start life with. All right? Now, you shall proceed as follows. Number one, as I told you, there's always somebody who can support you. You are never fully. We have many narcissistic families who hate and they blast on you. They feel bad when you are happy. We have people like that, where there is one powerful person who is very narcissistic and they have recruited the rest to be hateful towards you. They label you the black sheep of the family, you know, the scapegoat. Whether you are a sheep or goat, remember you are a person. Families always need animals to label. Like scapegoat, black sheep, anything, dog, stray dog, anything. You'll be called animal names. You may be marrying the person who is different in the whole family. You may find a very sick family and the only person who is different. What if they took a hard line and they are very toxic and they have a lot of energy to fight? Don't always force to use the parents if they say that if they're not cooperative. Don't always force it, because you can bring them inside. Now they have a chance to blow it up. Use the other person who is supportive. Can it be an uncle or a pastor or a mentor? It's not always direct parents. If it, hopefully we say your parents, the parents will accept. But sometimes it may not be direct parents. The powerful people, the people who can help you, are in a position to assist you, are not directly parents. So be ready to use other supportive family members who are not traditionally directly the parents. And that is good enough. Are we together? As long as you're an adult, I told you the law does not require the parents. The law requires any witness, an adult. Are we together?
Yeah.
Any witness. So don't be tied by people saying, we will never allow you to marry, we'll never allow you to marry here, we'll never allow you to marry here. No, you need to move on with your life. You also need to marry a strong-minded person so that this kind of battles, what should you... Getting married is the first fight you fight together. But it is not the last one. After that, you fight others. With your child raising, with the jobs, with the relatives, the haters, you will fight other battles in life. And this marriage, the battle to get married, is the first test to see that you guys can fight together. If a person balks, if a person quits, if a person leaves you to fight alone, it is telling you if you go on with them, that is the way you will be fighting alone. Do you want to be fighting like that? No. Use it as a test to see how far can I go with this person. For me, I was very impressed to see that my girl would sort those things ahead from her side. She would deal with those things because the people who are usually most powerful are the where the girl is coming from. I found very graceful in-laws, extremely graceful. I was given a lot of grace. Now, we started by praying for grace, but we know not everybody will find grace. Some will find a race. My friend, some of them will find a grind. It will be a difficult thing. But we are saying, number one, be open to using other people other than direct parents. Number two, minimize the budgets and be flexible with procedures. Don't do a big wedding if you know there's a lot of fireworks at home. The big wedding brings all those toxic people at home, brings them on board. Be open for small, intimate ceremonies. Sometimes you see people doing invite only. They're dealing with those kind of things. It's not always budgetary. It's strategic. If we open it somewhere in our church, they will come there. They will send people to ruin, saying, yes, I have his child. Yes, I was his governor. Ah, yes. Many people, those narcissistic people can do anything to sabotage. So be open to doing a different kind of ceremony that is fit for the circumstance. For example, a small invite-only event. And you pay security at the gate. And they have a list. They check ID. Sorry, I can't see your name. You need to clear this security. Wait. You can do a 20 people attendance only event. In the West, that's how they do weddings. They're not as big. Okay, our culture here is different, but don't always go for big events. You need flexibility when you have to fight a battle. Remember, once your parents reject, they're declaring a war, and you must brace for war. Why people lose battles is because your parents have already declared enmity, and you are still behaving like a friend. Once you see people declaring enmity and opposition, you must be ready for war. So be flexible. You can do at the attorney generals, in fact. You can do at the attorney generals. You can do a small intimate ceremony of invite only by cards of 20 people. You can do a garden, something somewhere. Why? You always marry in a ceremony. Are we together? Are we together? Let's emphasize this. We listed why you must always marry in a ceremony to bring a definitive closure for the previous season and an opening for the next season. to give you change of identity, to clear your mind, so that you can know you're officially married, so that you can know whether the person is ready for commitment.
Yeah.
People hide behind all things to sneak in and sneak out and disorganize you. You wanted a clear thing. So never dispense with the ceremony and say, let's start cohabiting somehow. Other problems will come and the person will start doubting whether you are really the one. Marriages are periods of friction. And the friction comes when there's no commitment. It's easy for people to check out.
Yeah.
Always get into a ceremony so that if a person divorces and leaves, you know they have left you. But if you just sneaked in, you can't know whether you are with anybody in the first place. You're already getting children. Time is going. Years are going. Emotional investments. Where are you? Always marry in a ceremony to be sure of your identity. When you're feeling informed, no, I'm married or I'm not married, you know where you stand. Don't spend 10 years thinking, let's wait to see, then the person just walks out unceremoniously in an insulting manner. Because you just here where there's no structure. Never enter a relationship that have no structure. The third level. So we said be flexible with the ceremony. Don't always have to be big. You can put it in another town that is far away. You don't have to announce it on TV, not to announce it on main places. Just get a person who can get it done. It doesn't have to be in the church where you go because maybe they have planted spies there. You can do it, just organize with the man of God. You go to another town, officialize it, and that's all. You can do bigger ceremonies. Bramwell, after you get married, you can always do anniversaries. You know that?
Yeah.
We can renew our vows. We can always do anniversaries. Ceremonies. We can always get a time when seasons have changed and those who wanted to kill the child have died. God told Joseph to go down until those who wanted to kill the child have died. Sometimes you wait for enemies to die. Okay.
Yes.
Postpone some things. You live in a sort of hiding, asylum, until those who want to kill the child die.
Yeah.
Those who want to ruin the child of your marriage, your future, die. Finally, so we have said, number one, be flexible to use other relatives, other supporting people, even can be a mentor. Some people are often told they were abandoned children and the important people in their lives are scattered on their field. All right?
Yeah.
Some have died. Some grannies who brought them up, or they're too old or something. So don't be too rigid. Check the topography of that person's life. Number two, don't be too traditional with huge events that invite the enemies easily. Be wise. Make it, don't have to announce it everywhere and all that. Do it quietly. In fact, you can do the announcements at the Attorney General. They usually pin something on the notice board there. Attorney Generals and Bramwell intends to marry Mary in 3 months. That's how they announce the bans. So the bans, they announce them in church. Yes. It's a legal procedure. Even that. So you can do I have seen weddings where, in fact, personally, I've been, I'm not an officiating minister, but sometimes you don't use a minister when there's all that kind of whatever things. So they said the word legally at the Attorney General sign the papers and then do a ceremony for their close friends. Yeah. And what they want is a speaker, not a preacher. Because there was a lot of fights with the churches. You understand?
Yeah.
This is flexibility to us. Sometimes toxicity will not come from family. It will come from churches. Can you imagine that? The fight coming from churches. So they said, to avoid all this, the Attorney General has there are priests there. The Attorney General is complete. There's even a chapel. Yeah. Don't miss out on a good woman because of fight by outsiders. The government sorted you out. Are we together?
Yes.
Government is your friend. Go there, pay money, and you're told we have a chapel here. There's a priest. This is how much you pay. Then you just it's complete. You can walk in with your two witnesses. Two witnesses can be your friend. Friend. You walk in there. You're given everything, and then now you do a quiet ceremony in a hotel when already the papers have been signed. That's what we did. I've done that severally. Yes. Once you realize there's too much toxicity and storms, brother. Do you want storms? Life is already hard as it is. Yes. As long as you are agreeing and you're a woman, never fail to marry because of anything. All right? Yeah. So if the family, and I've told you why, sometimes you find that people are enmeshed, they are swallowed in a certain church. Church that has very strong cultic tendencies. They believe only they are right. And you should marry here. If those outsiders are aliens, they don't know God, they have no spirit and all that kind of things. So because you don't come from this church and you're marrying this girl, and maybe the parents are swallowed there, now the hard lining has taken effect. What do you do? Instead of being accused of using, I don't know, another minister from where, go to the Attorney Generals and use the ones that are there. I never knew the government knew all this nonsense happens. They provide a full thing. Okay. Sign papers with a witness and another one. Hey, there's no curses. You're blessed. Bramwell, in nearly all cases, so I finish. In nearly all cases, if you marry and you're united, the fight strengthens you better. You become financially successful. You become very organized because you have a point to prove. Those people are saying you're making a mistake. Now you can't afford to prove them right. So you behave. You save. You grow. When you come back driving good vehicles and looking, people change their opinions. Hey? In 3, 4, 5 years. Money. come looking blessed and princely. People now will have changed their opinion. The others will have died. The pharaohs who wanted to kill the baby will have died. Other people now, so don't worry. These things usually, especially if your marriage has destiny. If you're a person who is destiny conscious, most of those transitions will be fought alone. Mm-hmm. If you're destiny conscious, God is with you. He will always show you a way out, including some of the tips you're giving you here, the wise ways to approach these things. But don't expect ease. When you're a child of destiny, when Jesus was born, there were babies being killed. When Moses was born, babies being killed. Esther had a lot of destiny and her parents had died. Look at all the children of Joseph. Look at people with destiny and how the enemy threw a lot of storm at the time of their birth. When you're crossing over and you're a child of destiny, when our Lord boarded a boat in Mark 4 and he told them, let us go to the other side. There was a lot of storms, and it is them who told them to go to the other side. Sometimes it is God who tell you, now it's time to get married. Now do the wedding. Now, but in between there will be too many storms. Mm-hmm. But He is with you. And you will arrive at the other side. Mm-hmm. Okay? So he has to say, don't never give up because of the position of the family. If your partner has their mind made up, you're the person they want. And they have enough independence to make their decisions.
All right. Yes. And I like that, Benjamin. Those 3 levels of rejection, very, very powerful and an eye-opener. Benjamin, you must admit that sometimes the wrong decisions at times that we make end up leading us to the right places.
You're right.
Now, there is a statement you've said that has really caught me, that indeed the individual who wants to marry you, how intentional are they?
Exactly.
How determined are they? They can be determined to marry you, Benjamin, but the level of rejection you are receiving is coming from a good side. What if the parents' rejection is not about you? It is about their son, because they know their son or their daughter is a good-for-nothing fellow.
So they're doing it to favor you?
Yes.
If a family resists you marrying their child because they know their child, and they're pitying you, and they're telling you, you are the 5th one. You is being brought here. We have had too many cases and we have just gotten tired. We are sparing you. You have 2 options here. If they claim that they are doing it for your sake, they will not force it. They just declare their stand and tell you the reasons, and tell you from there, make your decision. Most people are doing it for your sake will not say, we'll take you to police, we'll arrest you, we'll curse you. Most likely they won't. It's a mother will tell you, my son, I can see you are a decent son, just like my own sons, and this is my daughter. And I wouldn't advise. Mm-hmm. But if you insist, it's okay. You have my blessings. Just don't say that. I didn't want you to say, I never told you. Mm-hmm. All right? There's a mother who can tell you when she's genuine, and she can tell you when she's narcissistic. Yeah. So there are 2 ways. A genuine person will warn you and leave you alone. Mm-hmm. But narcissistic people will go ahead to try and sabotage it, because they're envious of the son who is marrying, right? And he has a very bitter marriage. Yeah. Narcissistic parents envy their children. Narcissism is so twisted. You speak a language that sounds alien. When you start describing narcissism, a parent envying the child, sabotaging the child. There's a mother who came to her daughter's wedding and told the groom that you're making a bad mistake. The guy is marrying her daughter. Today they're married, is a couple I worked with. And the guy was wise enough to understand narcissism, to understand envy, to understand psychopath. All right? Yeah. I want you to understand that what we're dealing with, what sometimes you're dealing with when a family tells you it's for your sake, it could be either genuine concern, we should verify. All right? Yeah. Verify. If a person, just check and say, how come they say this about this? But no, the way I've known them, I think they have a problem. I still want to marry this guy. Or maybe it makes sense. Oh, I had also observed this. I just didn't know how to make sense of it. Then they have saved you. So they could be sincere or they could be narcissistic. Mm-hmm. All right? Yeah. Yes.
All right. There you have it, guys. Thank you so much for watching the Benjamin Zulu Show. It is all about who you are willing to journey this life and this marriage with. Thank you. Let's do this again next time.